Hey there, welcome to day 905 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and this is where I document my journey from the offline brick and mortar corporate world of America to the online world. In 2017, I had the opportunity to separate myself from my traditional corporate in 2003 or 4, but businesses, my own offline real world businesses in 2017. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I'm old, but I'm not old enough to retire. I don't want to retire. I don't think I'm ever going to retire or quit doing something. As I get older, it seems like I have more energy to give value and to share things with the world than I did when I was younger. I guess because my kids are grown up and now I get to hang out with my grandkids or my granddaughter, although I might have another grandchild on the way. Not saying this time. Last year, my daughter lost a baby, and so I think I had shared that I was going to be a grandma again, and so now I'm just not saying anything. But I love hanging out with my grandkid, my granddaughter, and my nieces and nephews and things, and my family. Family is awesome. I think the older we get, the more we appreciate our family. Maybe some people not right now because we've been in COVID-19 and we're spending so much time with our families, but to me, it's been a blessing. I can't talk today. What's going on? I think because I talked so much on the Get Up and Go Challenge preliminary message today about the easy way to choose, and that if we have built within us a criteria that we analyze alternatives with, because that's my nerdy engineering way of discussing things, is we analyze alternatives. We don't find easy ways to pick what we want. We analyze the alternatives. We have a simple way to analyze alternatives. I'm learning that the more simple we make things, the more likely we are to actually do them. If we overcomplicate things, I'll never forget, I was reading, and I'm always reading personal development books and development books, and I love, all right, now I'm thinking about the book, Jack Canfield. I love Jack Canfield, but he wrote a success book, and it had like a gazillion steps to success in it, and I'm like, this is overwhelming. Everything in it was pure gold, of course, just like when Tony Robbins writes a book. Everything in it's pure gold, but the vast majority of the people will ignore it because the book's this thick, right? Or because there's too many steps and too many principles. Nowadays, there's this push that every one of your communications should have 3 key points, and it's been around a long time. But to me, it's talking to people like they're stupid, and people are not stupid. People are so smart and so amazing, and if you want to work with and deal with and interact with people that are smart and amazing, treat them like they're smart and amazing. If you want to deal with people that can't think for themselves and you have to do everything for them, then speak to them that way. So I like to work with smart people and people that are making the world a better place, so that's how I speak to people. But we feel like we have to dumb down everything, but we do in some ways have to remember that even us, even me as human beings, if I'm looking at a super complicated, in-depth thing, I am going to struggle with making simple sense of it in my own mind. Well, if we can make sense of things for people and make it absolutely easy and actionable, why would we not want to do that? Why do we want to overcomplicate things? Life is really a lot simpler than we make it. I remember chasing after my purpose and what am I here for? Why am I on this planet? And thinking about that in the background for a lot of years, because I was working in businesses and industries that didn't feel right for me, and they weren't right for me, but I didn't know it. And I was always wondering, why do I have this nudging feeling in the back of my mind and my consciousness that's asking me, what does this all mean? What am I doing this for? And once I got more on the path of what's right for me, that nagging feeling went away. And it took me a lot of years to figure that out. And it's because I was overcomplicating things. I was thinking that my purpose and what I was here to do was this massive, in-depth, complicated thing that I was never going to figure out. And then following my sudden cardiac arrest, I've read a bunch of books and done a lot of things and looked at a lot of stuff. And then I had this aha moment that was like, guess what? Everything you're reading and hearing and saying has one underlying message. What is that underlying message? When I asked myself that question, of course I got an answer. And the answer was that each and every one of us, all of us unique, amazing, snowflake human beings, are here on the planet and alive to experience our life as only we uniquely can. So guess what? That means you get to be you and have the experiences that you're here to have. I get to be me and have the experiences I'm here to have. And it's going to be different for each and every one of us. So, you know, there's this drive to make everybody the same and normal and treat everybody fairly, which is a complete and utter crock, right? Everybody, my dad taught my sisters and I when we were little, and maybe this is a false belief of mine, life isn't fair, right? There is no fair and equal for everybody. There just isn't, because people contribute different amounts to the world, and we're all here to be and do and have different things in the world. That's why we all have different desires. We all want different things, and that's what makes life work and the world so freaking beautiful and fascinating, is that we are all different and we all want different things. And we define what do we want differently. We define success differently. To me, success is continually improving to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And hopefully making the world a better place along the way by having a positive impact on the world, not a negative impact on the world. That's my definition now of success. If you would have asked me when I was 20 or 30, my definition of success was, you know, how much money can you make in your business? How can you build a big business? And that would have been my definition of success. Hey, you got to be making $1 million a year, and you got to be doing this and that and the other thing, and have all these different material things. And over the years and over my levels of experience and my different bad and good experiences, because we have them all, I learned that that wasn't really my true definition of success. In my heart and in my soul and in my being, money didn't have anything to do with how I defined myself as a successful human being. I guess after my sudden cardiac arrest, and even a little before, every day above ground was a good day, right? I heard that from a motivational speaker, Jesus, probably back in the 80s, the late 80s, and it stuck. I always remember the speaker. I don't remember his name right now, but I can see his face and him on stage talking and saying, hey, every day above ground's a great day. And I remember thinking, well, what an interesting perspective on life. And if you treat your life that way, every day is a new opportunity to be and create what it is that you want in the world. If you define success that way, guess what? You enjoy every day more. You wake up, you get out of bed, excited to see what the day is going to unfold and how it's going to unfold and what's going to happen. And even on those bad days when bad things happen, how often when you have a bad day, is the whole day really bad? Or was it one bad thing for 30 seconds or 10 minutes happen, and you then ruin the rest of the day thinking about that 30 seconds or 10 minutes of bad that happened? You know, somebody, when we were kids, she's looking at me, he's looking at me. That was a big thing that would cause a fight between us siblings that wouldn't just last for a couple of minutes. Well, it did more when you're kids. You just blow things off. But as you got older, if your boss said something that hurt your feelings, or if your friend said something that hurt your feelings, you might let that ruin your entire day. I would do that sometimes. If somebody did something, especially to my kids, and this is when I was old enough to know better, it would ruin not only my day, but maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks, because I would feel so bad for my kids. What a waste of energy and effort, right? Some things we just need to let go of and move on. So, thinking about that today, obviously talking a lot about that, the how to make easy decisions and how to know what to do next. Not everything you have to do, but what to do next was the topic of Get Up and Go Challenge today. Again, we're not in a live challenge right now. We're in between. August 1st, I'm going to start my next Get Up and Go Challenge. It's going to be a month-long challenge. I know a lot of people don't like month-long challenges, but it's free. And if you can improve something and change something in your life in a month versus 10 years, why the heck wouldn't you want to do it? I don't understand. I love challenges. I've been attracted to and doing challenges for decades because I know they are the quickest, easiest way for me to get a result in my life and to make massive progress. You know, everybody talks about the 12-week year and all these things that people make up, but I've been living a 12-week year for decades because I figured out a long time ago that if I compressed time and made myself and held myself accountable to doing something every day to move me toward my goals, I got there a whole lot faster than anybody else. And it wasn't about anybody else. It was about me contributing in the best way I possibly can. So that was Get Up and Go Challenge. Chewing the fat was our discussion for Supersize Your Business today. And how does chewing the fat how do you use that to impact and grow and build and supersize and create the business you want to create? And it's pretty easy. I'm actually starting, and I've had fun with it for a while. I get in these moods where I want to stop doing the daily idiom for supersize your business. I think, is this really of any value? Does this help anybody? And then I think, you know what? It does, and it absolutely positively helps me because it keeps me opening my mind and looking for possibilities and remembering that I get to decide what everything means. Everything. We create our own reality, whether we believe it or not. We attract the things and the circumstances into our life that we experience, whether we believe it or not. If someone had told me when I was 40 years old that when I was 50 I was going to drop dead of a sudden cardiac arrest, I would have laughed. I would have totally and completely laughed because I wouldn't have believed it. I absolutely positively at 30 or 40 wouldn't have believed that I would drop dead at 50 because my mindset and my brain and everything, it wasn't even on the wavelength that that was possible. And then if they had told me that I would have given myself a sudden cardiac arrest, I would have said, men in the white coats, come and take this person away. They're crazy. But after that event, figuring it out, I now realize that I absolutely positively did create that event. I don't know how I did it. Didn't realize I was that amazing and powerful a manifestor or creator. But if I think about it and I analyze it and I look at it, I absolutely positively created that event in my life to shut me down and stop me from a path that was sure to lead me to death and destruction, and actually did lead me to death and destruction. And I knew subconsciously, or my soul knew, that I needed a massive adjustment or I wasn't going to be here talking to you 10 years later. It's been almost 10 years now since that event, and I would say I'm going stronger in a massively different direction than I was back then. And back then, people would have said and looked at my life and said, oh my God, you've got it. You've got everything you want. You've got a great house, great family, great businesses. Everything's going strong and wonderful for you. But obviously, on the inside, that's not what I felt about my life. And that's not how I felt about my life. And I felt so badly about my life that I needed a dead stop choice. Was I going to continue down that path and die? Well, I wouldn't have continued down that path. I was done with that path. And had I not chosen a different path, 3 to 6 years, I would have passed away 3 to or so years ago. Not 3 years ago. I would have passed away 7 years ago. And so these last 7 years, I totally would have missed out on everything, like my grandchild and things like that. So I am grateful for every day above ground, and I hope that you are too. I hope you realize that every morning when we wake up, it's a chance to show up in a different way. It doesn't matter how we've shown up for 60 years up to this point, or how many ever years you are old, even to yesterday. You might have had a horrible experience yesterday. Guess what? Today is a brand new day. Every 24 hours is a brand new day to create and be and do and change and have whatever we want. It's what we're doing right now that determines what our future looks like, not what we've done in the past. The past is just the past. Nothing we can do about it. So Get Up and Go Challenge, chew the fat. How does that relate to business? And like I was saying, sometimes I want to stop doing it, and then I realize, geez, it's really good for me. It gets me going and thinking outside the box every single day. And guess what? It's the people that think outside the box, who stand up and say, this is what I believe in, that attract the people that are for us. And we want to just hang out with the people that are for us and are going in the direction we want to go, not with people that disagree with us. So we chew the fat with people we like. We don't chew the fat with people we don't like. We chew the fat with people we want to build relationships with. We don't chew the fat, although I say be nice to everybody. Every single human being on this planet shows up in our life to show us or teach us something, either by their example or by the interaction. We don't meet people by accident. I mean, some people ascribe to the theory that everything is just chaos and everything, it just happens at random and they have no control over it. I don't believe that anymore. I probably did when I was younger because I didn't know better, but over the decades I've learned and I've realized and I've seen enough examples of serendipity or coincidence or whatever you want to call it in your life that I know that they're not coincidences anymore, that it does happen. Now, the hard part about that is that then I know that I am responsible for all the stuff that happens in my life. And some of it, boy, I think, would I have wanted to pick that on purpose? But I think there is some, the way the lessons come to us aren't necessarily of our choosing, but it's when we learn the lesson that we don't have to repeat that anymore. I learned that with my health. I've learned that with my relationships. I've learned that with a lot of different aspects of my life, that guess what? I don't have to think that way anymore. Guess what? Those weren't even my beliefs in the first place that I adopted. I just got them through osmosis, either from the news or the media or my friends or my family or the people I associated with. And you know what? We all get this group think where we think like everybody else. And at some point we have to realize, okay, stop, hold the phone. Do I really believe that? Do I really believe money is the root of all evil? No, that's ridiculous. Do I really believe that one political party is better than the other? No, that's ridiculous. That is designed to divide us as human beings and make us fight against each other so that we need people to tell us what to do and to think for us. Do we? Hell no. We don't need people to think for us. We just need to take back our own personal responsibility and think and choose and decide and believe and feel for ourselves. All right, another tangent I'm getting off on today. Obviously, I'm on tangents today. 365-day fun challenge today, because I am so glad I decided that I wanted to have more fun this year. It's worked out so well during COVID with my granddaughter and I, and just my life in general, that I was going to have and do and be more fun this year. Well, COVID-19 kind of shut down a lot of what I would be doing for expansiveness and fun, but guess what? Inside the box of what is possible, what we can do, there are infinite possibilities as well as outside the box. So it has just put some parameters on me in terms of, well, what ways can we have fun that are still safe and effective, and we're experiencing things, but not necessarily involving crowds of people, which, you know, that's cool too, right? It's like when I first started taking pictures on my cell phone instead of my digital camera. I didn't know, and this is really embarrassing to admit, but I didn't know, because my vision is really bad, that you could zoom in and take pictures on it for like a year. I didn't know it had all these features and zoom things and things. So the parameters I used to take pictures was what you see is what you get. What I snapped a picture of is what I get. And it wasn't until my daughter informed me that, hey, Mom, you have all these different things you can do with your phone, which to me, it's overwhelming. And I actually liked the year of, you know, you snap a picture, what you see is what you get, because it was simple and easy for me to learn and take pictures of, and it gave me totally different pictures than once I learned that I had the capacity and the ability to zoom. The same is true, excuse my nose, dripping, in our lives. You know, we do what we do until we know differently, and then we do and differently. But so that's it. So fun was a good one this year, and that reminds me of the in the box versus out of the box. There's parameters in our lives all the time. We get to set those parameters and those limits and decide what they are for us. And a lot of times the things that are best for us are just outside that comfort zone perimeter, that little box that we set for ourselves. So that's it. That's what I'm working on today. Working on the Get Up and Go Challenge, working on another project that I've been putting off for a couple of years now. I know I've wanted and needed to do it, but I've just been putting it off. And I'm looking for help to help me do that in a simpler, easier way than me having to do it all myself. So if you know anybody, I need a VA. I actually need 2 VAs to help me with a couple of different projects. And I'm looking for references on that. I don't want to just go out randomly and go to one of the freelancer sites or one of the Filipino VA sites. I need and want specific people to help me that understand where I'm going, what I'm doing, and believe in it as much as I do. So I'm going to be a little picky about how I pick my next 2 teammates. All right, that's it. That's all I've got. If you have questions about challenges or business, got lots of, 47 years of business experience in different industries, offline and online. If you need help with anything, you're having a question and you're just like, I don't know who to ask about this, just hit me up in the comments below. If I don't know the answer, I will hook you up with somebody that does. That's it. Have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.